Hello everybody, this is Uncle 40 and it's been a long time since I actually made a video, but I just had to make this because I had to just give out my opinion out there. So this is about ELEX 2, and basically this video is about my not first impression, an impression of the game and a slight review of the game. Note, there are very small spoilers in the game, but I'm not telling you any of the story, just the problems with the story itself. And what's it? Well, not what's it about, but I have to say it to explain it. But before that, I want to say that I'm actually a big fan of Piranha Bytes. I'm a Gothic 1, 2, 3, and all the Gothic series gamer. I especially like the one that Piranha Bytes made in the past, which is 1 and 2. I can't remember if they made 3, but 1 and 2, basically 1 was my favorite, regardless of the bad graphics. And then they made ELEX 1, which I found really good. Maybe I had no complaints about it because it was the first series that was made by Piranha Bytes. But now let's talk about ELEX 2. Now, before I go to the bad, let's talk about the good things about ELEX 2. One is the map. The map is good. Actually, I can't say much, but it's really good map. It's based on the first ELEX 1 map that they changed, and I didn't know it was the same place as was taking place in ELEX 1 until the NPC started mentioning the bases and they took over this place. Initially, I thought it was a different area of the world they're trying to expand in. But then you see all the landmarks, some of the landmarks you see. I did not recognize the place until I saw those landmarks and the NPCs mentioning it. So that's a good thing because I didn't recognize it. I felt like I was in a new environment. So that's one of the best things about ELEX 2. Next is the questing. I really enjoy the some of the new quest mechanics they put in the game, which is one. Sometimes you just have to walk around the town listening to NPCs, what discussion they're having, and then they actually would come up to you and share the quest with you. Example would be the kids in the Berserkers camp, and then the kids start telling you this and getting you involved in that quest. So I like those kind of quests, especially the random quests when you go exploring. Some NPC come and talk to you. Mostly they try to rob you, but there are some, not a lot, some that actually brings you for questing, for like maybe troll hunting, for example. So that's a nice touch, but there's just not enough of it, I believe. But I wish they had more. But there are a lot of side quests in the game. Battle system next. I still like it. It kept to the original battle system. It did not change anything. They had auto aim at the start for aiming, but I turned that off. So I could say that's a blessing for controllers at least. But it was still the simple and easy to understand kind of mechanic. And if you're low geared and low level, or if you like me, I did not use any skill points until I was level 12. I just kept all the skill points before using it, and it provides a lot of challenge fighting those high geared level NPCs and monsters, because it forces you to learn how to fight with the monsters. And I especially like that you can power now and then parry their attacks and make them unbalanced, especially the flying monsters where they just dive onto you, and then when you block they fall to the ground, giving you a chance to actually dealing a lot of damage to them. What they removed from the game was the instant kill when the players are when the NPCs are on the ground, which I don't see much of a problem. But it gives a kind of a challenge when prolonging the fight in the game. So that's a good thing as well. They also added a new faction which are called the Morcons. It's a nice touch, I believe, because the thing is, what we want in the game is what attracted me to Piranha Bytes game was like Gothic 1, when I found out that I could join factions, and then there were different storylines to the factions in Gothic 1. And that's why I played Gothic 1, because I wanted to find out the story of the 3 factions in the game. And having another faction in the game excited me at the start. Why it does not excite me now, I'll let you know later. Okay, but it's a nice touch to see a good a new faction, or a new faction in the game, and I would like to see what happens in the future. Another good thing, they added actually legendary weapons. I do not remember any legendary weapons in ELEX 1, but it's good to see these unique weapons in the game, and I believe that this will get a lot of gamers trying to collect all of these legendary weapons, or challenge themselves by not seeing any guides and looking for these legendary weapons. And that's the good thing about ELEX 2, all of this. I would like to say that I actually immensely enjoyed playing ELEX 2. I finished the game once. I'm on my second run now, playing the clerics. But that now brings me to the bad part of the game. Maybe I should have put this in part of this in the good, but the main storyline of the game was really nice actually. Having another how you say, like ELEX 1 was against the hybrid. This was kind of similar, where they're going up against another group of enemy, or a new enemy that comes from space. Okay, then the whole story, the main story, I enjoyed it. I liked the story. But what I didn't like was that there was almost no storyline for the factions that I've played. So just so you know, I've played the Outlaws full story, and I'm currently playing the Clerics. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler, where once you join the Outlaws, there's no story. Nothing. So I'm not sure if this is a spoiler or anything, but there's nothing. The only thing I love about the Outlaws is the weapons and the armor they get. I'm pretty sure they were the best in the game. But there is no story for the Outlaws. And then once my second play, I started joining the Clerics. Other than finding out what an annoying guy in the camp looking for recruits, there was nothing else. And I don't know, one more way, I have to post a poster in the other camps, but there was nothing else. There was no other story for the clerics. Nothing else. Now that's a miss for Piranha Bytes. I can imagine what kind of quest would have been given to give the clerics a longer storyline. Now, okay, so again, this is just going to be I'm not sure if you're going to call it a spoiler, since there's nothing else to do once you join the clerics, is that what they could have done was, the clerics were just surviving an attack, and they moved out from their original camp or village, and they're starting to rebuild. Now, why don't concentrate a lot of the quests on there, rather than just recruiting, helping a missing trader? Why not make a story from there and help them build up the camp? So that's just the clerics. What about the other factions? So that is a kind of disappoint. It really disappointed me. So I'm not really happy about that. Where I believe it's just laziness, or they had a deadline to keep. I don't know, but there should have been more stories to all the factions. Now, the only promising thing I can see is the Morcons doing the quest halfway. I think they have a story. I'm not going to tell you what is it, but because I don't know what is it. I know what is it. I don't know what entails to it. I hope it's not just a 1-2 quest and it's done. I really hope that the Morcons actually have a story. Now, the Berserkers at the start of the joining the fangs, they had a few missions that actually had to solve some issues. But other than that, also there's nothing else. But it was really challenging. It's like they made the story for the Berserkers and they said, "Oh, we don't have time for this. Let's scrap all the others." I feel like they have other quests that they wanted to put in the game, but they scrapped all of it due to maybe time. That to me was a bad move. I just wish they had more missions for all the factions. Now the problem with this is because there are 2 factions in the game where you have to join the other faction first and before you join them, which is the clerics and the outlaws, and which is very, very disappointing. A lot of miss opportunities by Piranha Bytes that could have made the game really cool and could be playable 5 times. Now, another thing that pissed me off is it's just this one particular quest where you have to find a handyman to fix up the main your base, and once you get him, the only thing he does is change the decoration. He changed the flag and the tables and the equipment. That's all. It's just not worth it. You know, people who play RPGs. I'll give you an example of Morrowind, where you join a political party like the House Halalu, House Vedoran, I guess it's called Vedoran, and House Telvi, I think. Then they give you an area to rebuild your own village, you know. And even Skyrim had that. When you had to build your own house, they gave you an area where you build your own house and how to improve your house. Something as simple as that would have made people, you know, gamers or RPGers, you know, happy. So that again, very disappointed in that. I was hoping, you know, at least build a gate and fix the rubble of the bastion. Again, another missed opportunity that would have made the game great. And I do not know why they did not do it. And another thing is, maybe this is more of a preference, but when I got to level 11, it was very hard for me to level. And I ended up hunting almost all the monsters. The only monsters I skipped was the flying ones, because I didn't have any good equipment to go up against the flying ones, unless I parried them and then they fell to the ground. But having low gear at the time, I couldn't kill them off fast enough. But I hunted the whole land. I would say almost 80% of all the monsters and all the weavers that were in the map, I killed them all, and I still struggled to get to level 20. I think I totally wiped out all the monsters in chapter 1 just trying to get to level 20. And the reason that I had to get to level 20 was because I had to reach, there's two stages of getting promoted in the game, level 20 and level 30. Okay, level 20, you get to join, for example, the clerics. Basically, you get promoted at level 20. And then your next promotion is at level 30. Why lock it like that? You know, it should be like, once you complete the requirement, that you complete the mission, say, oh, you do this mission, you know, because the guy said, you do this mission and I will promote you. But what happens is, once you do that mission, you get, oh, now I can promote you. But then it said, with a bracket, lock at level 20. No, let them get promoted. Let the players get promoted. so that once they reach that stage and the story behind it, it becomes a challenge at their level. So they should not be locking it, okay? But for those who are worried about the monster being wiped out, don't worry, the monsters actually keep spawning after the next chapter. And the new monsters that are in the game actually, as far as I can see, they respawn some of the monsters, not all of them. Like the trolls, everything, they don't get respawn. Okay. But the other monster does, so it does help in a way, I guess. Other than that, it should not be locked. In the old days of Gothic 1, the armors were not level locked. It was rather whether your stats could let you wear those armors. Now, it's just the money. If you get enough money, you get the level, you'll be able to use the armor. So, so to me, that's kind of disappointing where they lock the promotion at level 20 and 30. I don't like that. Another thing is the environment immersion, I mean, which when you join a faction, it has nothing changes when you go to other camps, you know. Once you join the other camp, then you go to the other faction, like the leader of one camp will tell you like, oh, I want you to join us because you are this great person. But once you join the other faction, they have nothing to say to you. That's all. And that's disappointing. There should be some sort of consequence mechanism in the game once you join a faction, you know. And then there's a storyline that makes you able to meet those leaders again. Reconciliation, I don't know, we you know, just a quest to help for the story for each faction so that you can meet them should be integrated into the main story. Since at the beginning they wanted to unite all the factions, right, so that they can fight this new enemy. But that doesn't happen. Yeah, you can just walk into anybody's camp and have no consequence at all. It's like nothing happened actually. You can go there and make the deal. Not like this, like example, the Mokon said you have to do this quest and I'll allow you to trade. And then once you join another faction, you go there and you can actually still trade with them. So that's like, there's no consequence. A miss though, because they can add so much story and so much quest to it, to those kinds of environment, you know. Instead of having you join the berserkers so that you can join the outlaws, or join the elves so that you can join the clerics, and you be an inside man, that's not good. That's laziness for story making. RPGs are about story making, in my opinion. It's about story because you're playing a single player game trying to find out the story, and it's not just about hack and slash and there's mediocre stories. Mediocre part should be on the side quests. There are some side quests that I enjoy, some side quests are just disappointing. What else can I say? Oh, no, this is supposed to be a war between these new enemies. Okay? This is the next issue I have. The war between them. So at the beginning, like I said earlier, you have to join the faction. You're trying to unite all the faction against this enemy, but at the end, that does not happen. It's only your companions that you find and build up your relationship with, but only one faction come to join you in that battle, and no one else joins the battle. No other faction joins the battle. There's supposed to be a war against this new faction, but nothing. Again, laziness on story and game development, maybe. I don't know. really freaking disappointed in that. And then another thing I have a problem with playability. You know, I played ELEX 1, I think, as how many factions there? There were 3 factions, if I remember correctly, and I played all 3 factions. Played all 3 factions, and they had different, you know, as little as it was, there was a story to it for each faction. But this, the only reasons I can see myself being replaying it is because, one, being a melee, specializing in melee. 2, being a gun freak, having all the lasers, the heavy guns at full. And lastly, being a berserker, being a mage. And I don't see any other reason to play the game again. Again, I'm going back to, there's 5 factions now. All 5 factions should have their own independent story. Without that story, there's no playability. Single players game should emphasize on playability. Now, I saw one YouTuber saying that, you know, the player count has gone down. That is the reason why the player count has gone down. You play one faction, you played them all. There's no reason to replay the game. I don't know how replayability will benefit the developers in any way, but having replayability actually makes your fans, I would say 100%, they will pre-order your game the next time. That is how important replayability is for me, because that's value in your game when you can replay again. Let me drink a bit of water here. I don't know why. I don't think Piranha Bytes don't know this. I believe that, I mean, all game developers should know this. But for single players, replayability game, that's very important. Now, there are some bugs in the games, but it's not game breaking in any way. I know there was some guy who actually found a money glitch, but that's not important actually. By the time you can afford the armor, you can make as much money as you want. Piranha Bytes. I don't know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna make ELEX 3 or not? I'm not sure. But you know, the game could have been so much more. It could have been so much better. I think a lot of people will agree with me that you could have made there was so many opportunities to make a lot of storylines for each faction leading up into the main storyline. There are a lot of things that you did good, but there are a lot of things you did that you had missed opportunities on. And I hope this is not the end of ELEX. I would like to see all those improvements be on the next ELEX or in some sort of update, you know, to make the game replayable. It doesn't have to be a new game. They can just add an update to the current ELEX, to adding stories to those factions, changing the stories. I would play that again. I would like to see that happen even. Put a $10 price tag on it for each of the faction. I don't care. It's long as it's something. But I don't think your game engine allows good modding though. So I'll have to leave it to you. I'm not sure how you're gonna do it. Or is there any plans to improve ELEX 2 in the future? I'm not sure. But that's all I gotta say about ELEX 2, guys. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a long time since I made a video, and this is what I've done so far. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. Uncle 40 out.